Hello, co-creators. I am so excited to see you and be here with you today. I'm feeling a lot better. I don't know about you, and we'll talk about why. But today we're going to pull some cards. We're going to talk about what's going on in the cosmos and the shift in the energy and how we are still stuck in chaotic energy. But basically, we'll dive into all of that stuff. I'll pull some cards and we will get going on setting our intentions for the week and just kind of easing into it because I think we need it. So if you don't know me, I'm Soul Coach Michelle, and welcome to the Soul Coach Studio channel, where I talk about manifesting, intuition, cards, and some of the videos are going to be about how I am creating, manifesting my dream life so that you can see it in action. But right now, we're going to talk about the energy report of the week. So first things first, let's jump right in. I'm going to talk about some stuff we have going on. So energetically speaking, what I am seeing from my channeled stuff, still chaos. And remember, if you want to head back to the video, and I will put it up here at the end, but if you want to head back to the video about what chaos really means, you can choose. Again, I'm not trying to take your free will. Reminder, you can choose to be in the chaos, to be eating your popcorn, observing the chaos, or being upset on the sidelines by the chaos. Or, and there's a fourth choice here, which I think is where we really want to be, which is seeing it more for what it is. Like, chaos is disruption. Chaos is the breaking down so we can break through. It isn't always fun, but part of what we're doing is breaking through so we can get to the next level. And that's another thing. I feel that part of this chaos and part of this, like, feeling like we're on shifting sands has been around our own ascension process. It has been around inviting us to see through the 3D, to see what is really happening here, to see where there is an invitation for us to step up and make very conscious choices about if we're, we came here to experience the human experience, which part of that 3D stuff is consumption and consumerism. And how are we in the 3D choosing to be in alignment? Like, where, the thing that's been coming up for me lately, maybe for you as well, is where am I spending my money? That's a 3D experience. But when we are doing it mindlessly or doing it in a way that is much more low vibrational, we do it unconsciously, like just going to the store and buying whatever you see, instead of kind of saying, what do I really need? What do I feel drawn to? What aligns with who I am and my belief system? And who out there, whether it be a big box store or a little side of the road farm stand, where am I spending one of my three commodities? Because I always say you have time, energy, and money. That's it. Where am I spending those? And is that expenditure in alignment with what I believe, where I want to see the change in my world? Am I doing things and making decisions based around the alignment with my soul? That's something that keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. For everyone. And as we make those conscious decisions, that's the shift that's happening. It's almost like it's tempering the chaos when we do that kind of thing, because it's saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I can do to be the change that I want to see in the world, and then let that ripple out. So that's happening. That is like kind of the chaos energy that we're surfing right now, because I think a lot of us, and this is because Mars has been retrograde for so long, have felt like, I don't know what to do. Like, whether it be making a social statement, whether it be in your business, whether it be in your career, whether it be in anything you're doing, moving, making decisions about any sort of thing in your life, has been very muddied, very unclear, very mind muddle. And it's because of this retrograde with Mars, because Mars is the get shit done planet. So because we have been retrograde, the invitation was slow down and don't move forward. Think about what your plans are. And as human beings, we have a tendency to be like, I want to fix this. I want to do something. Oh my God. And because of all the chaos we're witnessing, that was so amped up, but then it was met head on with that retrograde, and it just felt really, really frustrating. So as of say yesterday and today, even better, you're starting to see those clouds part. You might still be running up against things because Mars has now gone direct. It's a big planet, so it's going to take a minute, like probably like about a couple weeks, to kind of fully get full steam ahead. And there's another thing in there, so I'll get to that in a moment. But the Mars, they're going direct in Gemini. Gemini is about thought. It's in Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's about communication. It's about really getting clear about what you want to do and how you want to communicate whatever it is you're doing into the world. Whether it is, you're starting to realize your emails are, finally getting through, or your email's starting to work again. It's on that. And it was funny because I keep saying to my friends, I'm like, God, this Mars retrograde feels like a Mercury retrograde, because like this would work and then not work, or like our vacuum, our Roomba would like just totally disconnect from everything, and it took like a day, and I didn't even do anything. It wasn't like you could go and fix it. I mean, I unplugged it, I restarted the modem, and nothing worked. It was just like this weird like glitch. So that kind of stuff is starting to right itself. But we do have, and I know you're going to be like, are you kidding me? But the fact is that in a couple of days, on the same day as our new moon, which is, I believe, the 27th, let me just check. Yes, on the 27th of this month of February, we have our new moon in Pisces. And on the same day, we start the Mercury retrograde in Aries pre-shadow. So that's the preview that we're going to see before the Mercury retrograde. But in the meanwhile, the next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of more clarity around all of the stuff. Like, think about all the things that you were like trying to figure out over the last month or two, or a couple of months, actually. I think since like December. So think about all the things that you've been like toying around in your head. Like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And you'd get halfway down the road and then be like, oh, I went down the wrong path. Like, think about all that stuff. And what do I need to focus on? Like, kind of dig all that up and be like, okay, here's what all the things that I had ideas about doing. Because really, in a retrograde, it's review, it's planning, it's idea generation. It's not action, which is like exactly the opposite of Mars, which is why it's so crazy. So, but if you can pull that out and look at it, that's really good. And I'll tell you why. Because this week's energy, and do it this week, because this week's energy is all about being in integrity with yourself, and also making sure you don't skip that month-end review. And that's why, because you need to put those two things together, energetically speaking. And what is integrity within self? Is exactly what I was talking about earlier, being in alignment with your soul's purpose. So joy, love, and abundance is your soul's purpose. It's the same for everybody. Your life purpose is how you manifest that into your 3D experience. So that's why if somebody is living in alignment and they're super high vibrational because of everything they're doing is creating joy, love, and abundance for them, that's where, you kind of want to hit that sweet spot. If you did that little circles, and then the middle part is what you do. And I forget the name of that. It's like a certain kind of diagram. Anyway, so go back, use that month-end review. Don't skip it, and take a moment and write down, like, do the brain dump about all the things during the Mars retrograde that came up for you. Like all the things that you had this idea and there was a false start, or you were working on an idea before that and it's coming back to you. Like all these things that I could do. Now's the time to kind of write all that stuff down this week so that you can kind of look at it and say, where do I want to focus? What feels really aligned? Toss out the things that don't. And then you can start to move over all the move, blah, 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 blah. My brain is acting faster than my mouth can give the information. So that when Mars is moving forward, you now also can move forward. But because we have this retrograde coming into play in the same ruling planet as that is over Gemini. So the stuff that, Mars is going direct into the communication, technology, stuff like that, and making decisions and having to do things twice. And Mercury rules Gemini, and then Mercury's going retrograde. It might accent that. Do it over, like just refinement, and be like almost like a gem tumbler where it goes in rough and it comes out shiny at the end in April. But before that, in the in between, we have our new moon in Pisces, which I think is delightful because it will support the work you're going to do on that month end review about what should I really be focusing, what's really in alignment. Because Pisces, I love, and I love a Pisces moon of any variety because my moon is Pisces, and I love that stepping into that intuition, like really swimming in that woo energy of flowing in alignment and really being in flow. It is not a time for you to be like all Virgo-y, like my son is Virgo, like I need to really let go of the whole let's make all the lists and how do I do this. It's really going to be much more like, oh, that feels good, instead of, oh, I think this is going to be okay, or I think I need to make a how to do this. It's going to be all about what feels right. And when we're setting our intentions under that Pisces new moon, it's going to be inward reflection, not external processing, a lot of inward reflection, a lot of what feels right for me without input from others. What do I need to release here that's going to allow me to flow better? And just really trusting that you're on the right path for yourself. And as you do that, and then it flows into that pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, if you can stay in that alignment phase, it'll generate that observer mindset we need to have as we're going through the shadow of Mercury retrograde, especially the pre-shadow, so we can see what are the synchronicities. What is the like, think of it as like you go to the movies and before you see the main show, you see the preview. It's going to tell you what all is this Mercury retrograde going to be about. And because this Mercury retrograde is happening in Aries, every Mercury retrograde this year is in fire, which is all about what I'm creating, either what I'm burning up and what I'm creating, what I'm transmuting into something different. But this one is in Aries. That is about you specifically. Who am I? What am I doing here? I need to shine this out. I need to scream from the rooftops. It's not in that Leo. Leo energy is the next one, but it is about figuring out what it is you want to shout about that makes you you. That's Aries, is who you are. It's the individual. And because we're in retrograde, it's inviting you to really figure that out. And it's being launched by this Pisces new moon. So I need to feel into who I am and what is in my way. And you'll see stuff pop up. And if you can stay in observer mode and be like, that's interesting, let me write that one down. So apparently I need to work with this over the next couple of weeks. That's going to tell you some things. So that's really it. Let me just double check my notes here. But I feel like the mental clarity will be there as far as what I need to do to move forward. It'll be more of, as you get that mental clarity, and this is something we have a tendency to face, as you get that mental clarity, fears pop up. Fears pop up and be like, new level, new devil. I know this is what I got to do. I got to go do this. And then the fear's like, then your second thought is all this stuff. And if you watch my video that I am putting out in my blog this week, I talk about the first thought, which is the dream, and the second thought, ooh, that's funny, or over here. The first thought is the dream, and the second thought is your itty bitty, you know what committee chattering away about that. So that the video for this week and the video blog and the blog will be released tomorrow and Wednesday. So you can see those right here too. And I'll talk more about that stuff as well as, all of this. But that video is going to support this whole thing as we move into this next phase of lunar cycle. So you'll have that new moon of what do I feel like is what do I feel I need to do next based on my Mars retrograde experience, Mars retrograde experience of all these ideas of what I could do. Now we're being invited, what feels like the best one in alignment for us, and then start setting intentions for aligned actions with that. And then moving into Mercury retrograde in Aries, which will be what fears are going to be popping up for me that I need to look at and stay in personal integrity with myself. Like, and personal integrity is all about if I say I want to do something, if I set an intention, I got to take that aligned action. I got to go do that. And I have to be a leader for myself within my own life. And that is, if you say I want this, that means I got to stick with all the inspired actions to move towards that. I have to keep asking myself, am I moving closer or further away from what I've said I wanted with every action and thought and word that comes out of my mouth? That's really about how we stay integrity with our intentions. So all of that said, let's see, just keeping your word, and then we did the sneak peek of Mercury retrograde. Let's do our card pulls because I wrote down some things like card 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to use our animal spirit animal. Yeah, spirit animal oracle. And we're going to do our reading. And the first card, I have so much you don't see. You don't see the mess on my desk. I almost just had an avalanche. But anyway, so what do we need to know for this week's energy? Like, what do we need to focus our, what does spirit need to tell us? Or what do they want to tell us to give us guidance about this week's energy? So let's see. So our first card is Hummingbird, upside down. Hummingbird, and look at her. She's so pretty. She's got her little flowers on her head. And it is be here now, meaning be present right now in the present moment. But she's upside down. Now, what that means is I didn't know that. I forgot that I knew that. Or I know and I don't want to because I'm being a whiny baby. I think this is much more showing up as I forgot that I knew that. And I don't want to because it's a pain in my butt. It takes time. Meditation is I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay. I love y'all so much. But the fact is, when you live in chaos, you need to give your mind, your energy, your brain, all of your human side and your spirit side a break, a rest, a repose from all of the noise. So I don't care if it's 1 minute or an hour. You need to sit down and do the meditation thing. If you need help with this, there's my video on cord cutting that can help you. I will link a bunch of these that I've mentioned in the description below. I'll come back and do that. But be here now is all about understanding where is your power. So this week, this chaos business, I've been saying it all along. The reason it's happening and it's getting fueled by the collective's worry and the worry about what's going to happen, irritation about what's happened in the past. All of those things are putting our focus on places we don't have power. We don't have power in the past. We don't have power in the future. So if we're regretting our choices or we're belittling or begrudging what has happened, that is focusing energy in the past, and you can't fix the past, so there's no control there. You are worrying about what's going to happen. That's the future. We don't have power in the future. The only place you have power is right now, and the only time that you have to make decisions to affect the future is right now. So if you're not present making those aligned action choices that I mentioned earlier, that's the only place you have power. And it's disempowering and causes more regret and more worry and more of all this chaos to live in the other spaces. And current energies at play here and intentions by certain people want there to be chaos. It wants to sow that worry, sow that regret, sow that anger and fear, because it creates more distraction for you and usurps your manifesting energy for what they want, versus you saying, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. This chaos is just overwhelming. Then don't. Take a minute for yourself every single day without fail. Sit in being present. Sit in this be here now energy so that you can refocus on what you want. Set your intentions for your day. What energy do you want to dwell in? Like, you need that time so you can understand what your inner voice is saying to you and hear it. Okay. Number 2, we're going to move to card number 2. What do we need to know to support us in this new moon in Pisces? That's a good one. What guidance does Spirit want to give us about new moon in Pisces? Like, what do we need to know? What do we need to know? I'm feeling this. Yeah. Okay. I love it. And finally, a right side up card. I feel like every card we've had for the last 3 or 4 of these has been upside down. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. Be full of grace for yourself. I feel like that's a big deal. So as we move into the new moon, there has been so much harsh energy and so much, how do I say it? 3D energy, low vibrational patriarchal energy about control and power and oppression, creating a sense that others don't have power, trying to steal the power from other people, steal their energy, and that kind of thing. Like, really, that is kind of a focus. I know it may sound crazy to muggles, but the fact is that the powers that are at charge right now, they're trying to do power grabs, and not just from the perspective of 3D. It's how many individuals that are in their human experience can I usurp their spiritual power to focus it on what I want. So the radical act is you taking that power back, you sitting in repose for a bit every day to be present for yourself and what do you want, so you can get focused on that and not deal with them and not let them use your energy. And the only way to do that is almost counterintuitive, to be gentle, bring a gentle touch, meaning focus on that Piscean, that high vibrational feminine, and feminine and patriarchal and masculine, all that stuff. We have these, 3D ideas of what that means, but really it's just everybody has both energies. And it's really about leaning more into that water-based energy, love, emotion, intuition, listening to that still small voice within yourself so that you can generate an energy flow that brings and manifests what you want to see personally. That, you may want to manifest for other people in your life, and that's great, but you can't change their free will. But the fact is that you want more peace, focus on that. You want more abundance for you, focus on that. Take those aligned actions, figure out what it is you want and take aligned actions towards it. But do it in a way that is gentle, in a way that is flowing, Pisces, in a way that is feeling in alignment, in a way that's feeling, period, feeling into everything. Be gentle with yourself and give yourself grace as you move through that energy of the new moon, because it is going to bring up some of the feels around what it is that, is true for you. And those might be like, you might have an aha moment like, oh, this is really what I feel I need to be doing. And it's nothing to do with what everybody else thought I should do. And it may not be reflective of what everybody wants from you or for you. It's truly what you want. That's what this new moon is about. So be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace as you move through that, because those things that come up for you will then be processed through the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow and the actual Mercury retrograde and then post-shadow. And again, that's going to be all about the Aries, the self-leadership, the self-integrity, all that kind of stuff. So let's ask, what do we need to know about this pre-shadow? Just the pre-shadow, not the whole thing. We'll talk about that later in another video. But what do we need to know to navigate this Mercury pre-shadow? Ooh, I love it. Snake spirit up, right side up. Time to heal. I love this because I feel like that's the whole point of it. It's to burn up stuff that doesn't serve us and to ignite the fire within us that brings us to the self-leadership. And what has to happen is we have to heal and evolve from our old thoughts to our new thoughts to get that stuff to happen. So snake spirit bringing in time to heal. And also snake is about shedding the old. And that's a retrograde thing too. It brings up all the crap that is in our way from doing whatever it is, in this case, leading ourselves, really being clear about what we want, not what they want, not what anyone else wants, but what you want, being self-possessed about what it is you want in your life, and then doing it, and then shedding all of the stuff that is in the way, that is the fear, that is the itty bitty shitty committee in your head, that is all the beliefs that we bought into that were other people's, that were, they were well meaning, but you know, it got in the way. And all of that stuff needs to be shed. That's what this Mercury retrograde will be about. So be on the lookout over the next 2 weeks for those things that you're like, oh, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip real quick. Be on the lookout over the next 2 weeks of what are things that are coming up for you that are outdated, that don't serve, and they may have served in the past. Thank them, let them go, and shed them. So you can heal and evolve into that new version of you that will be on fire this year. So that's it for this week. Those are our cards. So we have be here now. So be present. Then we have bring a gentle touch, which is basically give yourself some grace around this whole process. And then time to heal with snake spirit, which shedding all of the stuff that doesn't serve us and stepping into that new place. And that's what that Mercury retrograde is going to bring. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if any of it resonated, please go ahead and drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. I have opened up my calendar for 30 and 60-minute Zoom readings. If you want to check for open appointments, go ahead and check the description link in the below. And then also, if you haven't already, grab your free Manifesting 7 Keys, the 7 Keys to Manifesting Dreams Toolkit. That is free, and that just is in the description below as well. And that's it for today and this week, and I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you stay present for yourself this week. Make sure you're manifesting all the things you want through focusing your energy, because energy goes where energy goes, flows where focus goes. It is one of those mornings that my lips and my brain are not attached. But anyway, have a great rest of your week. I love y'all so much. And that's it. I will see you next Monday at 10, for the next 2 Mondays at 10 instead of 10:30. I'm in replays after that. I love you so much. Have a great week. Bye.